Want to welcome everybody again to Reality Radio. Tonight, again, we have our segment of Reality Sexuality. And it's going to be a hot topic tonight. We usually light up the phones here. Please be patient with us. If for some reason you call us and no one picks up immediately or it just rings, that means our phone lines are actually jammed. And if you just call us back about 5 minutes after that, we'll be more than happy to take your calls. We have in studio tonight Ingrid, and we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of things, I think, today. She's smiling at me. And Ingrid, I got to apologize because I know I took pictures of your flat shoes last time.
I was heartbroken the one time I didn't wear 5-inch heels.
So let's see your shoes. First, let me make amends with everybody because we got the real thing going on tonight. So we're going to take a look at that. Will you please? Oh boy, those are nice. So that makes you now, what, 6'8"?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Have I redeemed myself?
Reality Sexuality segment, we concentrate on alternative lifestyles. We concentrate on problems that people have with those alternative lifestyles and just try to get the word out for people that need to be heard. If you need to be heard tonight, you can go ahead and give us a call at 305-541-2350, and we'll take those calls as we always do. Welcome, Ingrid. How was your week?
It was good. Nice to be here, as always. I'm always happy to be here.
It's good to have you here. So give us a little bit of info about what's going on and what you're going to do here and what we're going to talk about today.
Besides my 5-inch red stiletto heels.
I love them. Personally, I think they're great.
I had to redeem myself from the flat flip-flops last week. So as Dr. Mike mentioned, this show is about... I can't tell you who to sock it to. It's your thing.
Well, it's your thing on Reality Radio's Reality Sexuality segment. It's always your thing. We're talking about everyone's things and how that relates to religion tonight. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Miami. Welcome back to the world. Listening to us streaming live on the internet at reality-radio.net. This is Dr. Mike. We have Todd in studio today, and we have the beautiful, wonderful Ingrid with us as well. And we do have some calls that have been waiting very, very patiently, and I'm going to go to them right away. Are you there, Richard?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Hey, Richard.
Good. First of all, I'd like to say that, Ingrid, I thought your red stilettos was a religious experience.
Hey, there I am. I'm back on. Yeah. I heard that. The Church of the Red Stilettos. I'm so glad that somebody... Did I redeem myself with my shoes this week?
Yes, you did.
Can we start a religion around my red stilettos? Was that the question?
Probably, yeah. But I think one of the problems when you're talking about religion and sex is so many religions put limitations on sex and try to control it, whether it's female circumcision or having a woman wear a burqa. Most of them, instead of celebrating sex, only look at sex as an act of procreation and frown on it as an act of joy.
That's true. There's definitely, religions are trying to prescribe people's sexual behavior and limit it. And I think maybe that's where some of the guilt, when people are talking about guilt, comes in. What are your thoughts on sexual guilt? Were you raised in a religious home?
I wasn't raised in a religious home. However, because of sexual guilt, I think I was driven away from religion. I was raised Jewish, and my younger brother was gay, and he was made to feel ashamed because of it. I also have a friend who was raised as a Mormon who's gay and was ostracized from the church.
Sure, and that's incredibly painful. It's certainly led to, suicides, bullying, all of that.
Yeah, and, without being able to accept life, it's really putting very rigid rules on life. So to say, does religion inhibit sex? I think that unfortunately it does because of its view on sex and its limitations on sex.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that depends on the religion you're talking about.
Yeah.
In Judaism, sex is the thing that you can do that's the most godly, because you are now becoming a creator.
Although homosexuality, and I think homosexuality in most of the religions, certainly the conservative, versions of those religions, even Judaism, Christianity, Islam, it's still a capitally punishable offense to be gay in most Islamic countries by death. So, and, certainly within Judaism and within Christianity, there's great diversity. And there's even a gay bishop, I think, a Lutheran bishop in Sweden who's a lesbian. But obviously there's other, we've seen them on television. In Florida, right? The minister in Florida, the God hates fags people who, come out with their signs. So there's a pretty wide range, which is interesting.
To me, that's the difference between religion and spirituality. Religion tends to bring people together, wants to bind people together in a common unity. Religion is, my religion's better than yours. You're this way and you're not. You're going to die in hell. I mean, you can pick who you would like to, what particular religious sect you'd like to talk about. That's very extreme and conservative, and you got to realize that those people are extreme and conservative.
Well, you have to follow the rules.
For example, Bishop Dolan in New York, where New York is trying to pass a law allowing same-sex marriage.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bishop Dolan is up in arms. This is the most terrible thing that he feels has ever happened.
Sure, they said it's going to lead to anarchy. Was he the one who made that statement?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And he's a respected mainstream religious leader.
Of course, Anthony Weiner was trying to change all that, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I had to put a Weiner joke in there tonight. He did resign. People, he's gone.
Yeah.
Not gone. He'll be back.
See, I have problems with legalizing gay marriage because my belief is that the government shouldn't have anything to do with anyone's marriage or anyone's personal life or anything that they do. I don't think you should pay a fee to get married. They should just stay the hell out of your life.
Well, I'll give you a real-life example. My brother was gay. He died of AIDS. He had been with a life partner for 20-some-odd years. However, I was his only blood relative, and his life partner had no say in any of the things that were happening in the hospital. They came to me to make the decisions. And I always looked to his life partner because I felt his life partner was like a spouse, but he had no legal standing.
Right, and that's why they do want marriage, for the legality of it.
Well, thank God today you can go ahead and you can assign people to go ahead and handle those things. They don't have to be blood relatives anymore as long as there's something in writing. And that's what it is with marriage or with a blood relative. They know that there is an actual tie to the person. So legally, I guess they feel safer that way. But if if you go ahead and you have a will that in essence will go ahead and allow people to go ahead other than family members to go ahead and intervene, that can be done at least today.
Was the fact that you started that statement with the word "thank God" a pun for the topic?
Yeah, I think that's a... I'm glad you caught that. You're the only one. Let me see. Okay, so that's one for Richard.
Two for the red shoes.
That's right.
Actually, Richard, you brought up an interesting point in the beginning as far as religion prescribing certain behaviors. There was a recent article about a group of Malaysian women, and Malaysia is mostly an Islamic country. And this group of Malaysian women was urging their women to obey their husbands and be, this is not my words, to be, quote, whores in the bedroom in order to curb social ills like divorce and domestic violence. Now, in Malaysia, polygamy is allowed, so men are allowed actually to marry up to 4 wives, and there's been some controversy over this article. There's female equality groups in Malaysia that are saying, to actually put the onus on women to curb domestic violence completely goes beyond the actual reality of the situation. What do you think about that, Richard?
Well, I think a lot of societies make women the fall guy. If a woman commits adultery, she'll be stoned. Whereas that may not happen to a man in some societies.
Sure. I mean, Muslim women aren't allowed to marry non-Muslims, but men are allowed to marry non-Muslims. I would love, actually, if there's any of our callers out there who are of the Islamic faith to call us, if any of our brothers or sisters are out there, to talk about this article. And Richard, I thank you so much for mentioning my shoes.
I hope I'll see him again before the end of the show.
and for calling in tonight.
Yeah, if you watch the video stream, we'll get her shoes out, maybe our way out today. Again, I do want to thank you for the call. We have, again, a full board of people, so we're going to have to move on. Richard, please listen to the show. Oh, it's a pleasure.
The show's great. I'm really enjoying it.
Thanks for calling in.
All right, Nora, are you there?
Yes.
All right, you're on the air with Reality Radio. How you doing?
Are you there, Nora?
Yes. How are you today?
Hi.
Sorry, hold on, let me...
Hello?
talking to you at the same time.
Okay. Do you have kids? Or your husband?
No, I was listening, and it's like confusing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're on a little delay, so we don't say dirty words.
You have to turn off all your stuff when you're talking to us, or you're going to get very confused.
Yes. Thank you.
How are you, Noor? Thanks so much for calling in.
I'm doing great, thanks. I've really been enjoying the discussion, and I'm really interested in both of the articles.
So
yeah,
tell us about your faith.
So I'm Muslim, and I converted to Islam 3 years ago. My family is actually a kind of a mix. It's mostly Southern Baptist. I'm half Native American. There's some Native religion in my family, and also Catholic. And I went to Catholic school.
Well, wait one second. So you are a Native American, a Catholic Muslim?
No, I'm saying I am
family.
Native.
She's a hybrid.
I'm saying my family.
Okay, hybrid.
This is the religious background that's in my family.
Interesting
and then I
background.
converted to Islam.
So there's no holiday you don't celebrate?
She's off of work a lot.
That's right.
Actually, I mostly celebrate Muslim holidays, but sometimes I will celebrate Christian holidays with my family because it's like sort of a secular thing. Everybody does Christmas and.
Wow. So tell us about your conversion. How did that happen, and how did your family feel about it?
I actually studied religion in college. I studied Buddhism. I practiced Buddhism before, and I still teach meditation, and I love Buddhism. And I had never really studied Islam, and so a friend of mine converted, and it made me want to read about it and learn about it, and so I just was curious because it changed her life so much, and she started covering her hair, and a lot of our friends were like, that's really weird, and so I started just reading about it just because I wanted to see what she saw in it. I didn't have the intention of converting. I was really happy Buddhist, and so then the more I read, the more I wanted to read, and I was going through some things in my life at that point that monotheism had never really made sense to me before, and I was at this point in my life where I felt like physically I had a lot of things going on, and just it was very overwhelming, and it was the first time in my life that the idea of there being one God and Him being the only thing you can rely on ever made sense to me. So that was kind of why I ended up converting.
I'm just curious why Islam instead of Christianity, which you were raised in? I
never really connected with Christianity, and I guess in some ways I love going to church. I enjoy it. I think Christianity is great. The main difference between Christianity and Islam is the idea, Muslims do not believe that Jesus is divine, and so that doctrine in Christianity had never really made sense to me. And so that's part of it, I guess. And there are other things, there are practices that we do as Muslims that just, to me, Islam is like a convenient label. It tells people certain things about me, but it doesn't really explain the complexity of my relationship with God. If that makes any sense.
So would you call yourself more religious or spiritual, as some of our previous callers were making that distinction?
I actually hate that distinction.
You do? Okay.
I hate to be the voice of dissent. I just I hear a lot of people say that, and especially having studied religion academically, it's a huge thing now. And to me, people say that because they think of religion as this thing that's very legalistic.
Mm-hmm.
And
sure.
I think, to me, religion doesn't have to be legalistic, if that makes any sense. And I think actually that relates a lot to what the articles talk about, because the guilt oftentimes comes from legalism, not from, religion, faith in and of itself is a belief in a higher power and in certain, scriptures, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to buy the guilt along with all of that. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And so to me, my belief in God and the things that I do as a Muslim are not, I can't separate them from I guess,